A beautiful maiden named Everley lived deep in the heart of a thick forest. She lived with her parents as an only child. Every day had all she wanted and was well taken care of. But she lacked one thing, and that was someone she could call a friend. Everley is a beautiful, talented, well-mannered young girl who did as she was told without any objections. She is hardworking and can sing melodious songs like a siren. She has always wondered what lay beyond the horizon and wishes to see it someday. But whenever she brings up the topic to her parents, they shut down the idea immediately. That always leaves her sad and even more curious as to why they avoid such discussions. But she never questions their authority. But as the years went by, the loneliness and the passion to explore the world and leave this thick forest they live in, where all she has as company are her parents and wild animals, increased. But how could she bring that up to her parents without being shut down before even speaking? She knows they wouldn't even give her a chance, so she devises a plan to escape from home when her father goes out to get supplies. She waited patiently for that day to arrive, but because her parents usually buy a lot of supplies that mostly last them for months, they didn't need to go out in a hurry. That is until it was a week to Everley's 18th birthday. They wanted to make it memorable for her, so they decided to buy her some presents and bake her a cake, which wasn't really how they usually celebrated her previous birthdays. To give her a memorable birthday, however, they needed to go shopping. When she heard the news about her father going to shop for presents and other supplies, Everley was filled with joy, because that was the opportunity she had been waiting for. The next day, as her father prepares to leave for town, she pretends not to be feeling too well and needs to rest. With that, her parents asked her to go to her room and take a nap. She did as she was told, and after sorting out some things, her dad left for town in his truck. 5 hours passed, and Everley's mother, Mrs. Woodson, had still not heard from Everley. She had expected her to come downstairs for lunch, but she didn't. At first, she assumed she was still asleep, so she didn't want to border her. But after 2 more hours without any signs of her, she decided to go knock on her door to check on her and make sure all was fine. But on getting to Everley's doorstep, she knocked and knocked, but there was no response. Worried and scared something might have happened to her, she tried opening the door, but it was locked from the inside. Out of reflexes, she knocked the door open with her fists without even registering what she was doing. But on getting into the room, she found Everley's bed empty. At first, she thought she might be in the bathroom. But then, as she opened the bathroom door, she found the bathroom also empty. This raises her alarm, and she begins to panic. She called and searched for her frantically, but there was no sign of her anywhere in the room. So she thought to check the garden. She came out and checked the garden, but still couldn't find her. So she went back to Everley's room to check again. It was then she noticed a piece of paper underneath her pillow. Mrs. Woodson took out the piece of paper and immediately recognized Everley's handwriting. So she began to read the note, which said, "Dear Mom, if you're reading this, then it means I've found a way out of this place. I know you've warned me countless times to drop the topic, but it just seems like something is calling on to me out there. I've ignored the voice for a long time, but as the years go by, it has become more unbearable for me. It is not my desire to make you worry, but I just have to do this. I hope you understand and bear with me. I don't know what awaits me, but I am positive about it, and I promise to return as soon as I can. Do not worry about me, because I'm not alone. Little Buddy is with me, and I believe the stars are too. Whenever you miss me, just look at the stars and I'll be there. I love you and Dad so much, and I hope you forgive me for this. Goodbye, until we meet again soon." "Oh no, my goodness!" Mrs. Woodson exclaimed and dashed out of the room. She went straight to Mr. Woodson's study and pulled out a book on a bookshelf. Then the whole shelf moved aside and revealed a passage. Mrs. Woodson didn't hesitate as she went through the passage, which lit up as she went in. The passage led her to an underground apartment with enough ammunition to start a world war, a private jet, a lot of cash, and many other valuable things. But she didn't pay attention to any of that. She went straight to a cell phone around the corner and dialed a number. It rang twice before her husband, Mrs. Woodson, picked up the call.